Let's talk Tanya for the 27th of Sivan. In yesterday's Tanya, we explained that God's unity is what we call the Achdus Hapshuta, a simple or essential unity, not a composite unity. God is not composed of different attributes, elements, and qualities. Rather, everything is intrinsically one. Now, that's something that we can't understand, and that's fine. We have to acknowledge the limits of our understanding when we're trying to understand God by recognizing that we can only understand something which exists within the framework of our experience and our reality, and something which is completely above and beyond that, something such as God, is something that we can't understand. How removed is God from our reality? Just how distant is God from the framework that we experience? So we're going to start answering that question today, and today we're going to examine the human internal structure, and then we'll contrast that in the coming chapter and in the coming episode of Let's Talk Tanya with the way it works by God. The internal structure of the human being, the spiritual structure, is comprised, generally speaking, of 5 different stages or steps. The first step is intellect. And in intellect itself, the first step within intellect is chachma. Chachma is when I become aware of something, I perceive something, a revelation that I have, which I then intellectually process. That is step number 1. Where does it go from there? Step number 2 is emotions. Once I understand something, so that understanding which I have, which I've processed and personalized, now becomes an emotion. I have a feeling towards something, a positive feeling, a negative feeling. So that's step number 2 is emotions. Step number 3 is if I have a feeling about something, I'm going to think about it. Whenever I'm thinking about something, it's because I'm emotionally drawn in one way or another to that subject. So step number 3 is thought. When I think about something, I speak about it. That's step number 4. And after I speak about it, step number 5 is I act upon it. So it all begins from chachma and the intellectual faculties that I have, moving to the emotional faculties, moving to thought, to speech, and to action. And by the way, even when there isn't actual speech, because sometimes it'll move straight from thought to actions, but conceptually speaking, the idea of speech is transferring something which is within me, and the idea of speech is towards someone else or towards something else, and that internal transfer is necessary in order to move from a place of the thought to the place of action. So again, the human being, 5 different steps. How does that compare to God? We'll find out the answer to that question starting in tomorrow's Tanya.